Alright, so in this video we learn how to use a data type. And so firstly we need to know what data type is. Basically it's the way we define values that a variable can take or accept. In the previous video we learned we learn what a variable is, and we see this code in my box, and we put the value of 20. So basically I categorize this basically up here: byte, short, int, and long. They are the data types that can take a whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4, no decimal places. Now what are the differences between each other, int and long, for example? Well, basically it's the size that the data type can hold. For example, if we want to know what is the maximum uh, the data type int can accept, we can do that. System.out print, and it's gonna be a little bit weird of the code, but bear with me. So that's how we want to know the maximum of value. Alright, so this is the maximum number that you can put into integer. Now what about long? So this is the number that long can accept. So the differences are just the size. Alright, now if we want to use like byte, it's fine, we can still print that out my box and run it again. It's not okay, I forgot the parentheses. Alright, run it again. So it's not gonna affect this code because 20 is in this range of numbers that they can take. Alright, so now we go to the float and double. Double basically is any values that have decimal places. For example, double my box again. Now we can't use that because why? We have defined that up here, so we need to change it to my double box. And so if we put the same value like 20, and we'll see the differences. System.out.print line my double box, and let's run the program and see the differences here. You have that 0.0, right? So that's double. Now we can put like 21.987 if you want to, and run it again, and there you go. Now if we put here, we can't do that, right? See, it's highlighted in red. It says you can't, you're just not allowed to do that. So that's why it only accepts whole numbers. Now moving on to Boolean. Alright, okay, I forgot the differences between float and double. It's just the size of the double. Double is larger than float. Moving on to Boolean. So what is a Boolean? Boolean basically can only hold true or false. Right, so Boolean my bool box, I can only put it either true or false. we'll try to print that again. And it's gonna output the false, so it can only hold either true or false. Now, what is it used for? Well, when you uh, learn about control structure, which we will learn that later on, it's gonna be useful uh, to branch our decision. So, for example, like if this is not right, then we should do this. If this is true, we should do that. So yeah, that's basically Boolean on the now. Moving on to the char. Well, if we remember in the I think very first video, we learned how to output a hello world. Now char uh, can only hold one character. For example, it we only can hold like H. That's it, because it's character. Whereas the hello world that we uh did earlier is not char. No, it's not that. It's basically another data type, which is string. Okay, so how do we define string? It's easy. We just need to type string my string as the name of the variable, and we put like hello world. Don't forget the semicolon. So now if you notice the differences, if you want to use char, which can only hold one character here, if you add like I, it's not gonna work. So you see it's surrounded by the single quotes, whereas string data type is surrounded by double quotes. All right. So yeah, if you want to print it out, same principle, system.out print line char, and also system.print line string, and try to run, and there you go. All right, so we've covered so many data types here. So if you still feel confused, it's fine at the beginning. And yeah, it's gonna take times to understand all of them. Okay,